We are going to begin our session for today. As you know, today our session is about Guan Di. So why we talk about Guan Di? Because his name is mentioned in the Invocation Sutra during the Tao ceremony. Let's look at it. So Guan Di has many names. Guan Di is not his real name. His name is Guan Yunchang, but we like to call him Guan Yu. So commonly, he can be called Guan Sheng Di Jun, Guan Gong, or Guan Di. So this can all work. So if you say Guan Sheng Di Jun, Guan Gong, or Guan Di, people will know what you are talking about. And he was born in this red province here. So in I-Kuan Tao, he's considered a Dharma protecting deity. So in Taoism, not I-Kuan Tao, in Taoism, he is referred as the Emperor Guan, the Taoist saint, the great ruler who banished demons. In Chinese, we call him the Fu Mo Da Di. That means casting out demons. He's the deity of warrior. In Confucianism, he's considered the saint of culture because he loved to read the classic of spring and autumn, and he also is familiar with I Ching. So a lot of times when he's by himself, he likes to read I Ching, the book of change. So he's considered a saint of culture and also the saint of warrior. In Buddhism, he's called Sangharama Bodhisattva and heavenly protector of the Buddha's Dharma. He's considered the Dharma protecting deity in Buddhism too. Go ahead, Robert.
What year are you talking? How long? 2500 BC or long?
160.
160 BC.
I was, let's see, 160. Yeah, AD.
Oh,
AD.
Thank you.
So let me go back here. Okay. So about his family, he was born in a scholar family. And Guan Yu was born in the Xie County, Hedong, and it was written that he was born in a family of scholar. In other words, his family is not considered poor. He was born in the year of AD, 160 AD. And like his ancestor, he often read a classic book of change, book of changes. That means I Ching and spring and autumn annals. His grandfather is also a warrior too. His grandfather is named Guan Shen, and his father is Guan Yi. So all these people are well-known name in the province during that time. And he was not single. He married Lady Hu, and he has one son, Guan Ping. Guan Ping. So he was born in 160 AD. So he got married and had kids 18 years later, right? 178 minus 160 is 18. So he got married early and have kids. Robert, your hand is still up. Do you still have questions? Otherwise, please put down your hand. Thank you, Robert. So how can we identify him? He has a red face, a reddish face. Later on, I will show you some YouTube video that kind of resemble him. So he usually have a red face, especially if we see in the Tao temple, the Taoist temple, or the Buddha's temple, you can see that he has a red face. So he is considered a tall person.
9 feet.
I think he's 9 feet.
Yes.
He's 9 feet tall giant with 2 feet long beard, a scarlet face, and the eyes of phoenix. So what is a phoenix eyes? That means the tail of the eyes go up. Usually not many people have that phoenix eyes. In other words, the end of the eyes go upward, as you can see in this picture here. The eyebrow and also the tail of the eye, both. and he hold a very long handle sword known as the Guan Dao. That's his special weapon. We can show you the Guan Dao here. It's called a halberd, a combined spear and a battle axe. So here, right here, is the spear. Spear. And here is the axe. So it's a very powerful weapon. Let's see. So he's portrayed as a military mandarin. And a lot of time when you see him sitting, he's reading the I Ching or the Chunqiu. Chunqiu is the spring and the autumn classic. And Chunqiu is the work of Confucius. And the book of I Ching is from Duke of Zhou, right? Zhou Gong. So he's frequently shown with his horse, and he's fully armed and carry a halberd. So that's how we can identify him as Guan Gong. He has a long beard, and this one I show you already. So how can we differentiate him with Lü Dongbing? So Lü Dongbing is more of a scholar appearance. Lü Dongbing also have a long beard too, but Lü Dongbing does not wear any weapon. If he has one behind his back, right? In this picture here, and also he wear a scholar hat. As you can see, the hat that he wear, it's a scholar hat, more like the time that Confucius wear. So this is more like a military hat. I want to share with you a story, and this story I find it amazing. At age 19, he was on a run. He was on a run because he feel that the country is in a state of chaos. So he want to go out and he want to find opportunity to fight for the country. So at that one time, he was staying in a hotel, and then he heard somebody crying, and that somebody was a man. He cried for his daughter because his daughter has been captured by Lü Xiong. So why Lü Xiong want to capture the daughter? Because back then, all the spring water well back then the water was not sufficient, and the one that's sufficient was owned by Lü Xiong. He was a rich man, so he inactivate all the well except the one in his home. So basically, people want water have to go to his home. So he say, only the pretty girl can come to my home to get the water from the well. So if you are a man, if you are an old man, if you are an old lady, if you are an ugly lady, you should not go in. Only the pretty girl can go in. But before the pretty girl go to get the water, first of all, she will have to be harassed by Lü Xiong. So it was that particular day that the old man cried for his daughter because his daughter is being captured by Lü Xiong. So the daughter has to go to his home to get the water for days, have not been returned. So what happened then? Guan Gong or Guan Di is, after he heard the story, he couldn't bear anymore. He went to the man, he went to the old man, and then find where Lü Xiong lived. And then he go to Lü Xiong's home and he killed him. Guan Di killed Lü Xiong. And now, and then at that time, everybody in the village is afraid of Lü Xiong because his name means power and authority. He's a rich person in that village. So once Lü Xiong was killed by Guan Di, now he become a criminal, right? He have to run, and he start to run. Because he know if he doesn't run, the government is going to come capture him. So during that time, he was wandering around, and this is Guan Yu. In age in 184 AD. Let me see, in 184 AD. Oh, okay. So he already married and have his son in 178. So in 184 AD, he left his wife and left his kids and joined Liu Bei, because Liu Bei back then he was also I would say that a hero too, and he wanted to protect the country because the country was in a state of chaos. And back then he wanted to recruit volunteer to join his team, and Guan Yu see that it's a great opportunity, therefore he joined Liu Bei. And besides him, there's also Zhang Fei. Zhang Fei joined the crew too. So these three are like three great brothers, and they form some kind of a fraternity group. They are like a brotherhood, very, very good brother. And they form the group with many volunteers under them. They are in a quest to fight Cao Cao. So Cao Cao back then is the governor of Xu province. It's called Xuzhou. So this is the timeline of the Chinese history. So in Chinese history, there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of dynasty changing places, a lot of emperor changing place, because people want their land. People want to rule. So that's why you see so many dynasties. So the one that I highlighted here is the Eastern Han. This is what happens in Guan Yu's time. So we are talking about the Eastern Han era. Guan Yu has different names in a different time. In this time, he was called the General of Vanguard under Liu Bei. He was under Liu Bei because Liu Bei is he is a scholar, and he's also a warrior too. So he was working under Liu Bei. And in this time, he was under Emperor Shang of Han, Shang of Han, and he was called the general who defeated the bandit. And in this time, he was called the administrator of the Xiangyang, and this time he's also under Liu Bei. So in this time he's under Liu Bei, and this time he's also under Liu Bei, and this time he's also under Liu Bei. And in this time, he involuntarily have to surrender to Cao Cao. But after Cao Cao, he worked under Liu Bei. And in this time, he was a lieutenant in general. So what happened during China? In that time, it's considered a three kingdoms. In Chinese, we call it the 三国演义. In Chinese, it means the three country that manifest righteousness. So it's this three country here, the yellow part, the red part, and the green part. So the yellow part is called Shu Han, and this part is governed by Emperor Liu Bei. And this red part is governed by Dongwu, and it's under Emperor of Sun Quan. And the green part is under Cao Cao. So basically, in the rest of the slide, I'm going to talk about the story between Cao Cao and Liu Bei. And here's another story of that I want to share with you about Guan Yu. So there was one time, Guan Gong. When I say Guan Gong, I mean Guan Yu. I say it just interchangeably. So one time, Guan Gong's arm was shot by an arrow because of course, he's a military man. It's very common that a general got hurt. So he has an excruciating pain, but nobody here he cried. And his son was also with him too. So his son told him that, Dad, we should go back to our place. But Guan Gong does not want to go back because if he go back, the the troop will not have a general. Therefore, he decided to stay put, and he hoped that his arm will get cured. But everybody know that his arm must be cured, must be treated. So his son, Guan Ping, hired a doctor. So the doctor look at his situation. So the doctor say, wow, your arm is shot by a poison arrow. You must be treated, otherwise you will lose your arm. But the doctor say, well, but I have a remedy that I want to treat on you, but you may be fearful. So the doctor suggests him to be blindfolded because back then they don't have a numbing medicine. So basically the skin have to cut without a numbing medicine. So here I have so the doctor have to treat the cutting wound in the absence of anesthesia. So he suggests Guan Gong to be blindfolded and secure the arm to a pole so that the arms will not move. And then he will use a sharp knife to cut the flesh open to the bone because the poison already reached to the bone from the arrow. So the flesh have to cut open the flesh, and then he have to scrape the poison from the bone, apply the herb, and then sort it out. Then that will be considered complete. So Guan Di say, it's okay, just go ahead, do your thing. I have no fear. You don't need to put me in a pole. You don't need to tie me on the pole. So after that, he asked for a couple dishes for him to eat, and also he asked for wine too, so to drink, to relax himself. And he invited the doctor to eat with him and have a couple drinks. And then after that, he asked the doctor, okay, you can start a surgery. So this is the picture. He was playing the chess, and then he also have the wine with him, and he was eating and drinking and playing chess at the same time. So he asked the doctor, don't mind that I ignore you. I'm going to focus on my playing on the chess. I'm going to drink and I'm going to eat. So please don't mind. And then, of course, we know that the surgery was successful, but the people around him start to cry because they cannot understand how could Guan Di can experience such excruciating pain, and everybody hear the scraping sound on the bone. And also underneath, do you see the ball? So this ball was there to capture the blood. So the dripping blood filled the whole pot, yet he remained calm. Isn't that unbelievable? I find that he's so brave. That's why he became a hero, right? So let's learn about Guan Di a little more. So Guan Di, we know that later on he became a sage. I like to call him a saint. He became a sage or a hero. He's well-known hero, and he's widely worshipped among all the Asian community. So why is he being worshipped? Let's learn why. So there's 8 virtues that he completed during his lifetime. Filial piety is reverence and loving care of our parents, teacher, and elder. So this is not just our parents, it's also our teacher and elder. In age 17, he got married and had 1 son and 1 daughter. And age 20, before he leaves, he asked his parents to serve the army. So he basically got his parents' approval. So in the Chinese culture, before we go to a certain place, especially when we go far, and when we go far, most likely this person might not return because this person might die might sacrifice his life during the military life, right? So he asked his parents, so he got approved, and also the first one, he had 1 son. So in the Chinese culture, in order to fulfill the filial piety, we must provide our descendant to our parents. And I think that's true for a lot of Asian community and also including the Indian community, Indian culture too. And the number 3, honor his parents. Although we know that later on he died of young age. I don't remember what year he died. But he was able to honor his parents by fulfilling the 8 virtue. And eventually he was reverenced by all the people. So when he was being worshipped, his parents is also being elevated too in the spiritual realm. So in the Tao environment, we talk about there's 3 kinds of filial piety. First one is to provide basic needs, providing our mom and dad the food to eat, providing the dwelling place, right? So this is very easy, that it can be provided by money. Second is follow their will. So if my parents want to do something, or if I'm requested to do something, I have to present my facial appearance as I don't have any involuntary look. I have to look pleasant. I have to show my pleasant behavior. Imagine my mom asked me to do something and I show my poker face. That would not be fulfilling the intermediate level for filial piety. And the third one is to teach them about Tao. The fourth one, and this is what Guan Di fulfilled. He maintained a good conduct, and because he's being worshipped by the people in the society for many generations, for many centuries, therefore his parents is also honored too. So let me go over this real quick. Filial piety, what's the definition of it? Honor your father and mother and attend their needs. Maintain good conduct and never do shameful things. And I know that in our audience, Peter did fulfill this filial piety, hardworking in family affairs, frugal in spending and not waste family resource. Siblings should live in harmony, because if we don't live in harmony, we will create disruption in our parents' mind. Therefore, that will not be considered filial piety. And then be honest and sincere. Do not be deceitful. Be humble and courteous. So all these 3 is basically being a good person, so that we can honor our parents, so that our parents can be proud of us. Second, brother love, the brotherhood. So Guan Yu was 25 years old, and Liu Bei and Zhang Fei. Remember these 3 pictures that I show you? These are the 3 brotherhood: Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei. So 3 of them, they took an oath of fraternity in the peach garden. So this is a very, very famous story. This is what they say. It's vow to protect the Han Empire, the Han Dynasty, from the Yellow Turban rebels, to serve the country. Although we cannot be born on the same day, they wish to die on the same day. In other words, they come from different families. They are from different mother and different father. So they wish from this point on, they become twins. They want to stick together, doesn't matter what, regardless. They will be loyal to each other. They will respect to each other as if they are twins. They want to die together. So this is called sibling harmony. So let me read this real quick. What is considered sibling harmony? Sibling harmony is, we can interpret into 2 terms: the people who are not in our family and the people who are within our family. So if they are not in our family, we want to be respectful and not to be arrogant. So for example, you guys are not in my family. So when I say brother love, I'm also saying sister love too. Sister love, we are considered sibling, right? So all you gentlemen here, and I'm your sister, so we should have this harmonious relationship. Although we are not in the same family, we're supposed to respect each other and not be arrogant. But if we are born in the same family, of course, we want to take a step further. We want to respect and love each other, and also share the same love to our mother. So what is our duty to our parents? In terms of if our parents die, then we should not be concerned about dividing the responsibility among the siblings, dividing the estate. We should not divide the will of the living will on the trust. And we should not think of claiming our parents' wealth and property, whether they are alive or not. So if the sibling is wrong in his or her action, the younger one should humbly listen to their elder, and the elder one should teach the younger one with patience. So this is a big picture of the three: Guan Yu, Liu Bei, and Zhang Fei. Second, dedication. So there was one time that Guan Yu was captured by Cao Cao. So as you can see, in this time, he was working by Cao Cao because he was being captured. So at that time, when he was captured, he still showed his dedication to Liu Bei. He say, jade can be broken, but it cannot change its color. Bamboo can be burned, but cannot alter its character. So this is the picture of Liu Bei. So this is Guan Yu's dedication, his loyalty to serve Liu Bei for the rest of his life after the vow that he took. The vow that he took was this one: although we cannot be born on the same day, but we wish to die on the same day. So he's very, very loyal to Liu Bei. So what does it mean by dedication? Dedication means loyalty, faithfulness, and commitment. What is dedication? The Chinese word for the virtue literally means center your heart. So regardless whatever possession in public and private affair, whenever you are acting openly and covertly, you are always center yourself. So we can apply this to Tao. We are loyal to Tao. We are loyal to ourselves. We are loyal to our true self. Doesn't matter what happens, we have to be loyal to our true self. People who are not dedicated will meet with defeat. They will be forgotten. So let me rephrase this. If you are not dedicated to your true self, you will be defeated by your false self, and you will be forgotten. We can be sure that all the ascended sages, Buddha, Bodhisattva, Confucius, Lao Tzu, they are very dedicated to their true self. They are dedicated to their higher self. They are dedicated to their essence. Therefore, they are not forgotten. But a lot of people, common people, they are forgotten because they don't have a center. So this is how center is become so important. Okay, next one is trustworthiness. This is number 4 virtue that Guan Di manifests. So one time he went to enemy's banquet with a few fellows and a weapon. He followed the order of Liu Bei. So one time Liu Bei wanted to send him out to do a negotiation, like a peace treaty. And he said he wanted to go. He was not afraid. And because the other person already invited him, so he wanted to honor the other person's request. But at the same time, he wanted to honor his words because he promised to Liu Bei that he will attend such peaceful treaty negotiation. So at that time, he went. So he's doing a negotiation talk, but at the end, the talk went ugly. He does not want to back down. So everybody was about to pull out their sword. So even the little soldier want to protect him too. So here I want to explain to you that at first he does not have the weapon on him, but when the thing turned ugly, he got the sword from his soldier, and this is the person that he was doing the negotiation with. So this person gave him a drink. So after the drink, he pretend that he's drunk, and he basically held the other person hostage. I mean, in the video, it does not show him drunk, but in reality, he was like wobbling and then moving his sword as if he's drunk. So in the video that I show you, he fulfilled a promise to Liu Bei, and he pretended he was drunk. On the right, he was holding the weapon, and then on the left, he's holding the enemy until he arrived in the ferry. And in the end, he hop onto the ferry, and then he go away. So this is his demonstration of trustworthiness. What is trustworthiness? It is sincerity, honesty, keeping one's promise. So in other words, your speech and your actions should be honest. Do not exaggerate. Do not be deceitful. If you make promise to others, you should be true to your words. Follow the teaching of sages. Trust their example and learn from them. Whether rich or poor, scholar or farmers, labor or merchant, a reputation or trustworthiness is as valuable as a pure jade or gold. Indeed, no one should live without it. So we know that our words are very important, and we want people to trust us. Therefore, we have to manifest our trustworthiness. Next one is propriety. This is very interesting. I want to let me explain to you before we watch the video. So at age 41, he was being separated by Liu Bei, and this is the time that he was being captured by Cao Cao, and so Liu Bei and him were separated, but he and Liu Bei's wife, Liu Bei has 2 wives. So it's his duty to protect the brother's wife, right? So at that time, let's see. On this picture here, you can see that the 2 wives is on the left, Guan Di is on the right. So Cao Cao could have, so the enemy or Cao Cao could have provided him with more facility, but he intentionally provide one dwelling to them so that encourage them to sleep together. But Guan Di or Guan Gong at that time, he only let these 2 ladies go inside. and he stay outside with the candlelight. And that time, outside it's so cold, but he makes sure that these two ladies stay warm inside. So this is a picture. So they were discussing how are they going to stay for the night. So Guan Di requests a book to read. He asked for the I Ching to read so that he can stay out. So there's only one facility here. So he allowed the two ladies stay inside. So what this gentleman is doing here is that he makes sure all the holes are sealed, because back then the window is not made out of glass. It's made out of pepper. So some pepper are broken. So he made sure the pepper are sealed so no cold wind can enter. So this is Guan Di. So he reported to Guan Di that all the windows are sealed. So here we can see that it's very cold. There's snow coming down, and it's very cold. There's only one light here, and this servant wants to go inside the house. He asked Guan Di to go inside the house, but Guan Di doesn't want to go inside the house. He said, "I'm fine. I'm okay reading the book here." But the servant continued to say, "No, it's so cold. Let's go in. Let's go in." And then he see that there's a fox coming, and he becomes so fearful. He say, "Fox is coming. What are we going to do? We are going to be eaten. The animals are looking for food." So Guan Di, he remained very calm. He continued to read the book, but at one point, he stand up. He hold on to his sword or halberd, and he make his couple moves, and all the animal run away. And after that, he go back and do his reading. And this person was so impressed. So he picked up the lamp and he continued on his reading. So at that night, he know that it was a difficult night. It was cold, but he does not want to go into the room to stay with Liu Bei's wife. So we don't know what propriety is. I'm not going to read this part because I think we might be out of time. The next one is righteousness. So while serving Cao Cao, Guan Yu give 3 conditions. Because he wants to be loyal to Liu Bei. He does not want to change his brother love. So Guan Yu tells Cao Cao that I can serve you, but under 3 conditions. And what are the 3 conditions? I can only serve one emperor. Once my brother is found, I will have to return to him. And it's my almost responsibility to protect my sister-in-law. And that is Liu Bei's wife. So that in the earlier slide, we see that how he protects Liu Bei's wife. So they were 2 wives. And in the later time, Liu Bei was found. So he wants to return to Liu Bei to continue to serve Liu Bei. So Cao Cao wants to keep him. He wants to keep him because Guan Yu is such a great general. So Guan Yu was given a very high title, and he was given many girls, beautiful girls, and he was given money, gold, carriage, horse, but he was not moved. He doesn't want to take it. And he know that he need to go back to Liu Bei. So before he leaves, he wants to report to Cao Cao, hey, I'm going to leave you. But Cao Cao doesn't want to see him because Cao Cao know that Guan Yu is going to tell him to say goodbye. So he avoid meeting with Guan Yu to say farewell to him. So Guan Yu Guan Yu reluctantly wrote Cao Cao a letter because it was a long letter and to thank him, but he makes sure all the belonging is left behind. So isn't that righteousness? So let me just go over with you the red part. Righteousness is doing your duty, work selflessly for your country, help the orphan and the widow, giving up personal gains to uphold the virtue. Number 7, honor, integrity, and incorruption. Oh, this story, I love it very much. So at age 15, he was fighting to an old man, an old commander. But this old commander fell from the horse and he was on the ground. So Guan Yu could have killed him right away, but he did not. He told him, hurry up, get up, and we will begin our competition. Most general or most people will just kill whoever fell from the horse. But Guan Yu does not want to kill him with uneven foot because this one person is at a disadvantage. He fell from the horse, right? So I find that this story is very amazing. So number 8, sense of shame. So this story we already talked about. Sense of shame is maintaining personal dignity. At age 60, this story we talked about in the earlier slide, his arm got injured by a poison arrow. So he refused to go to Jingzhou. He refused to go back to his hometown to get treated. So doctor advised him to be blindfolded and secure his arm tightly. So he continued to play the chess, right? So after doctor finished sewing up the wound, Guan Yu replied, my arm is as good as new and there's no pain at all. You are really the best of the old doctor. And the doctor replied, in my whole life, I have never seen anyone as brave as you. You are the best of all heroes. So let's talk about what is sense of shame, because sometimes we get we have misunderstanding about this character. It's not like I feel shameful in the common term. Let's look at this. What is sense of shame? Knowledge of shame, that is the understanding of the consequence of non-virtuous action. So sense of shame is awareness of neglecting filial piety. For example, if I don't treat my parents well, I will feel sense of shame. But I have to be aware first. Bringing shame to your parents. I apologize to my parents. Disharmony among siblings. So all these are great examples. Disharmony among the siblings, lack of dedication, of dishonesty, leading others to hate you, a failure to keep your words, leading to a loss of trustworthiness, disrespecting your propriety, having selfish interest. So this number 8 is also covers the first 7 virtues too. Dishonoring, taking money, leading others to insult you to your face and to laugh at you behind your back. Are these not shameful actions? As to association with murder and other wrongdoer, abusive use of drugs, sex, careless management of family resource, not attending to the need of your family, are these all shameful actions. So having that not righteous behavior and feeling shameful and having that sense of shame, I would translate as sense of awareness of shame. And that shame could be from doing non-rightfulness, unrighteousness, or disharmony, disrespectfulness, all this. So we just went over the 8 virtue fulfilled to be a saint and sages. So if we don't want to, if we think that we cannot be a Buddha, at least we can fulfill this 8 virtue. So if we fulfill this 8 virtue, I can guarantee you, because Guan Di already fulfilled this, I can guarantee you, you can be a saint and sages. Filial piety, stipulating harmony, dedication, trustworthiness, propriety, righteousness, honor, sense of shame, or the courage to admit. So before we have the courage to admit, we must have that awareness first. But talking about this, on this, the basic virtue that we need to fulfill as a human. So in Taoism, we call him a different name. We call him Guan Di, that means the emperor of Guan, or Guan Gong, that means Duke Guan. Tao's saint, Gu Mo Da Di, the great ruler who banished demons, deity of warrior, Lord Guan. And in Confucianism, he's called the saint of culture, the saint of warrior. Buddhism, Sakharama Bodhisattva, Guan Sheng Di Jun. So in the I-Kuan Tao, we call him the Guan Sheng Di Jun, but we might call him Guan Di just for short. So what does Guan Sheng Di Jun mean? It means the holy ruler deity Guan, or we can call him the heavenly protector of Buddha's Dharma. So there's other names in the Tao temple. The Tao temple, not the I-Kuan Tao temple. It's called Mei Ran Gong. That means the Lord of magnificent beard. He has really beautiful beard. It's like 2 feet long. And Chang Shen, or Shou Chang. So here is a very important story that I want to share with you. So this Dharma protector, our Guan Gong, this is a very important story that I want to share with you. So during this time, Guan Gong already passed. In 595 AD, December, Master Zhize. So this is a Buddhist monk or a Buddhist master. He was meditating. So during his meditation, he see this cloud coming over. I have picture here, clouds coming over, and he heard somebody say, and that somebody he recognized is Guan Yu. He say, "Return my head, return my head." So how did Guan Yu die? Guan Yu, because Guan Yu is a general, so he was captured, eventually captured by his enemy. So when he was captured by his enemy, and he's a very known general, so when he was being captured by his enemy, the enemy wants to make sure that his head is cut off, make sure he's dead, so that he can be taken to receive the award, right? So the enemy can show the head to everybody. This is the head of Guan Yu. So basically, when he died, his head and his body is dislocated. So Guan Yu shout, "Return my head, return my head, return my head." So Master Zhize say to him, of course, he's a master, Tao master, and this is what he say. Such a wise person. He say, "Your master Guan, in the past, you have decapitalized numerous heads. So during Guan Yu's time, because he's a military general, he also killed many people too, right? He killed many people. So you kill many people, why don't you return their heads?" So after Master Zhize say that, Guan Yu, he realized, oh yeah, you to return my head, but what about other people's head? I killed numerous people. What can I do? So after that, Guan Yu realized and he feels shame about his action, that he killed numerous people. Therefore, he asked Master Zhize to be his disciple and vow to protect the Dharma. So that's why he is a Dharma protector. He's a Dharma protector in heaven. So this is the last story that I want to share with you about Guan Di. Today, those of you who come, we learn so many stories about Guan Di. And I think it's important to learn about him. Next time, I'm sure when you see him, you will have a different connection to him because you know about his story, how he became the Dharma protector. How he became a Dharma protector is because of this reason. And he is the culture of Zen because he loved to read Book of I Ching and the classic of Chunqiu. And he's very courageous, and you know that and you know that he's very trustworthy, and he's fully dedicated to his emperor. I thank your participation. I thank the grace of Heavenly Mother, compassion of Buddha Maitreya, Jigong Buddha, virtue of Patriarch, Sutren Simu, and Grand Master, Senior Master Li, and Junior Master Li to allow me to have this opportunity to host this session. And I hope that you learned something from this session. Thank you so much.